Hey Capricorn, so I have to look like this a lot because this, you see that? Okay. It calls for some fun pictures and interlude though, I must say to you, which interlude is actually a great, I haven't been doing titles because they're kind of annoying sometimes to me, but interlude's a good one for you. So I think I'm gonna write it down. You're at that point in the album, book, you're interluding. So for you, this season has its moments of showing you where you are being given more to an extent. It's Mercury's back and forth that gives you this awareness of what you may be holding on to in terms of how you used to feel with certain people or how you used to feel in certain situations. Some of your interests could be changing. You find that fun looks different now, perhaps. Fun or your hobbies are changing, or you are learning that something's not working for you anymore, and you have to try as you move on. Like, it's not just, and it's funny, the lighting just change after a while. Let me get some water. You can find that, that you've been waiting almost for this moment where you're like, I know that things used to feel and seem different, or I'm different. And there's this cup kind of coming in for you, and you're just kind of missing it until Mercury goes direct on the 11th or the 10th, in Libra, moves into Libra on the 10th or the 11th, one of those two. I'm not trusting my dates right now. So just know that around the beginning / middle of October, that's when things will begin to shift and change for you. You may also, and it makes me feel like I want to change this. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I think I like this better. I think I'm going to keep this in the video too, just so you know. It's like you're helping me. Still too dark. We might just have to go back to the original. Oops, sorry. It's definitely getting sunnier out because before the lighting was perfect, but we'll just go with this. Who cares? So going with it, and here the light's changing again for us. How beautiful. All the struggle for nothing. Interlude. That was my interlude. Another one is all information to work with me is below. One-on-one. There's a few different options to get in touch with me, as well as the second part / extended will be on Patreon, which is when we go deeper into the cards, into what we're talking about and things that stand out in this particular reading. All right. Okay, this is funny because it's on the bottom. I almost picked it up, but I didn't. Quite a few cards just fell out. So you have this capability to make even the worst situations or worst of moments in your life almost balance out to what you create from them. But there's been this idea in the back of your mind that keeps coming back. And now it's making its way all the way into your physical world. What do I mean by that? I mean that into conversations that you're having, even if it's just with yourself or with even comments. You know that those times in life where you overhear someone talking and all of a sudden just one comment like pulls you in, and it might not be really what they're talking about, but it's about what was just that one word that was said that like jolts you. That's what I'm talking about, where you're just like all of a sudden pulled into, and you're almost, it could be triggered, but almost ignited by this thought, this provoking of this thing that keeps coming back up is almost ignited by overhearing something or being in a conversation that feels a lot more playful than it is serious, but then you take something from it and it becomes something to you in your own personal time, not necessarily a conversation with this person. And it could have to be with about maybe what you have been I don't want to make it too harsh, but sold to see women or see men or see whatever sex or gender that you're into. You've been given these constructs and you're almost, no matter what one of those situations you're in, even with yourself, you're finding that what's backing it, you're finding out what's really backing it. What really all of it is, the light of it all, the stream of it all. It's been kind of showing itself to you for a while. However, you may have had very strong figures in your life trying to almost overpower their own opinions possibly are overpowering what it is that you are capable of seeing at any given time. It seems to be wise of you to realize that Mars in Gemini is bringing out different things that you may not have asked for. Perhaps you haven't really asked for or even knew was possible of making its way to you, but it's just like things that maybe you would have thought to be arbitrary before, or certain things that you possibly didn't really give too much attention to before are now making their way around just to show you where maybe you're missing something, where something you do need to see, where you're not naturally used to looking for the answer or direction or whatever it is that you're looking for. That it's something being exposed to you through how you handle leaving. It's not even just leaving behind, but handling how you assert yourself. What it is, assert yourself in situations. So also very Venus. So it's between love and money. You know, how you assert yourself in relationships or how you present yourself in these relationships that have caused you to really think about where these things are coming from, perhaps. Like maybe you've been thinking about it for a while and you were just like, okay, now I might want to know, like, where is it coming from? Like, where does this stem from? If it does, from anything. And you may find that through conversation. You may find the elders in your life, or if you're connecting via meditation, I've never said that before. That's so funny. I love your guys' energy so much. So via meditation or through speaking to certain people in your life who are very stable within who they are, at least they're stable in knowing that regardless of what happens, they are okay with themselves. These could be very feminine figures in your lives. And I always suggest, or actually I'm suggesting now, but I always know that Capricorn men, male, or more, masculine, could benefit and also do benefit and also naturally bring to them those feminine oppositions that they really can see in themselves. And I advise both sides, whichever you deem more dominant, to invite someone else in, even your own sign, or even talk to someone who you see yourself in a way that you didn't realize. Like, it's now becoming very obvious to you where these similarities, and it's kind of like almost kismet because there's someone that you know or someone that you maybe have admired, and it's just coming to light for you now. And what that's going to allow is it's allowing an evolution within your own interests. So you're deepening that, relationship with not only the people in your life, but a relationship that you kind of weren't expecting even. It could be kind of a mentor or someone that who sheds a light and helps you ground in this understanding that whatever it is that you're questioning or you've been sold or given to as almost whatever you've been taking on as your own characteristics of yourself or your own, certain part of your character, you can be sure that it's involved, excuse me, it's involved with communicating, it's involved with breathing, it's involved with and woven into many different areas of your life. You are now this Ace of Cups swooping in, and we have part of the extended. Here we have another reminder. This will be a part of that next video where we go even more into it, is that the working hard right now, and you realize that there's these even invisible weavings of energy through your life where when something shifts or you notice something, it opens up a whole nother side of what you thought you were seeing, right? So now you're seeing something very deeply, yet very clearly about yourself, and you're able to take your wins with it and take your losses and realize you really haven't lost. You've actually gained even more. You didn't fall off the cliff. You can, but you didn't fall off the cliff, and you allowed yourself the time. You give yourself time, but sometimes not enough time. Give yourself the time to understand fully what this is for yourself, and there's a lot of fun to be had this month, so allow yourself the breaks in those moments. But maybe don't go out with people who are, or don't surround yourself with people who can be possibly dangerous. Maybe get to know people, so you're the type who you can bounce around. You can go out with people that you don't really know and meet and have a good time, or people that you do know. This month, if you think just because you want to have a good time, but you either know people or you get a feeling about people who it's probably not a good idea to be around, trust that, or bring someone else with you. Just trust all that, because there's this tendency to be pulled into things that we don't necessarily get ourselves into unless we're in Libra season for some reason, or in one of these seasons where we can get very involved in other people's energy and situations. So notice where the newer energy is bringing you towards, and I would follow that more. And you know what I mean by that. So even if you have to wait a little bit more, maybe have some grand spectrum conversations with people who you grew up with, or people closer to you that are a little older, but you can have these very open, interesting types of conversations with. That's who you want to be around this month, because that's what's really going to engage you, and you're going to share more and even learn more about yourself and realize what you haven't really thought about, as opposed to what just comes natural to you. And you'll see and discover that there's so much more life happening, that whatever you've been hard on yourself about becomes a lot easier. The Ace of Pentacles to the Five of Pentacles, whatever it is becomes easier because something clicks. We are entering the seasons of much magic. So it just clicks for you, and there's this overwhelming sense of pouring out of just pure it could be money, just pure gold is basically what I'm going to say, but I don't want to sound too frilly for you, but pure gold is just this rush of you realize something really important it is to realize about yourself, and now you're ready to infuse it in everything that you have, and you realize how much that starts to build upon each other. It's it's a blessing and a curse, but in a good way. I want you to see this. If you've ever seen Harry Potter, and if you haven't, one of them, I don't know which one, they go into Beatrix's, and she's one of the on the dark side, her safe, at their kind of banks. And if you go in there, you have to be careful, because there's something that if you touch, it will just start to multiply. So yes, you need to be able to handle that when it comes and it happens for you. So you're starting to see how building upon this, and how much of your energy will just take off into the coming months and years. Even if it's not, you just feel it. You know when something's right for you. You just have that psychic touch. And that's all. Psychic touch. Boom. Psychic touch. All right, Capricorn. And we'll get into more of that into the second part and extended. All information to work with me is below. And so we go. And so it goes, as Mac Miller would say, the late Capricorn.